This day and age in the US, it seems like financial freedom is freedom. It seems like financial independence is independence. And there's a lot of other factors that are going on that affect your independence, affect your freedom, and will drastically affect it in the future. Drastically affect your financial freedom in the future. Right now, we have a major immigration problem. Now, this video is going to be a little bit about immigration, a lot about what is going on with this. But a video was forwarded to me from someone about Western Lensman. He made this video about immigration, and it's also something different. It's getting into a single party system, and there are other countries that you might consider single party systems, but getting into the governance of a single political party that controls the ruling system. All of the parties are either outlawed or only enjoy limited and controlled participation in elections. And, where do you see this kind of stuff? Well, you see this stuff in the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, and you see this in other countries out there similar. And is that something you truly want to see in the U.S.? Well, I'm gonna roll this video here, but before I get into this video, I want to say something that I am not anti-immigration. In fact, I think that having a diverse culture, diversity in the U.S. is one of the things that makes us more interesting. But I wouldn't be here, my feet wouldn't be on the soil if it wasn't for immigration and our ability to allow immigration in the U.S. But my grandmother immigrated over here before my mom was even born. And I've got to say that she was very proud of going through the process of naturalization. She was really proud of what she had done and her accomplishment there, and proud to be a citizen. She learned English, I'd say, very well. And with that, what's going on, what you can see in this video and what's going on right now, is a disgrace to my grandmother and everybody else that came over here and did it the right way. And it's disgusting, it's disgraceful. I'm going to roll this video and show you, and then I'm going to talk about it, do a little bit of a discussion afterwards.
The Democrat open borders plan to entrench single-party rule, explained in under 2 minutes. 1. Flood the country with untold millions of illegals by land, sea, and air from all over the world, enough to eclipse the populations of 36 individual U.S. states so far. 2. Prioritize the needs of these millions of non-citizens over the needs of the American citizen, with free flights, buses, hotels, meals, and phones, ensuring their loyalty to the political party that imported them. 3. Keep them in the country at all costs, even when they commit violent crime like murder and rape. Attack the language used to describe the criminals, as opposed to the criminals themselves. Slander critics as racist. 4. Ensure their privileges are made irrevocable with city and state sanctuary laws that act as population magnets. Codify permanent status and ensure non-cooperation with ICE. 5. Count the non-citizens in the census that will determine congressional apportionment in the House of Representatives. As of now, that would equal 13 extra congressional districts, a tremendous amount of electoral power. 6. Wage a massive, heavily funded lawfare campaign to change state voting laws that legalize mass mail-in ballots, no signature verification, and no proof of citizenship requirements, making it nearly impossible to prove voter fraud. 7. Lock in the permanent voting majority with campaign promises of lavish benefits and permanent privileges, enshrining generational fealty to the Democrat Party. 8. Win elections. 9. Entrenched single-party rule has been achieved. The best part? Your tax dollars are paying for it.
The first thing I want to say is that if you disagree with anything in this video, or you disagree with the concept, whatever, do your research. Don't listen to what anyone has to say. Do your own research. But here's the thing. If you're going to come back and start making negative comments, you need to have some substance of proof to disprove it, because you can't. 300 hours of research and you can't disprove it. Or 30 minutes of research and you still can't disprove it. And there's going to be all these like one-liners and these one choice words, buzzwords. They think they're really slick, but there's no thought put into that. There's a lot of thought put into this video. And of course, almost everything in that video you've seen segments of on World News Tonight or any of these major newscasts, and all of the issues and situations that we're dealing with, they've been aired out on the news. So it's not like this stuff is just made up. It's literally right there on your nightly news, and it's linked together. But I want to get into a few things here first. Number one, The border bill, as you can see right here, at first I didn't understand why they were saying capping it at 5,000. And I was like, that's so high. That's really crazy. Like, they won't do a thing until 5 people illegally cross. And they're saying migrants, and there's kind of a nuance there. But how do you know the difference between all of this? And did they actually know it's that number? But we're not gonna get into all of that. But here's the funny thing: you're seeing on your news now that only about 4,000 to 4,400 are crossing a day. So even if they put this bill into place, it would have been a waste of time, because they wouldn't do anything at all ever, because there's only about 44 crossing now instead of 10 or 11,000 like there were before. In this bill, they show a lot of other aid to other countries that are added into that bill, lumped into that bill, and so you start looking at all of this, and a lot of this doesn't really add up, and it's a little bit frustrating, confusing. No, it's not. It is this whole agenda being pushed, and every single thing that they want is being crammed in this bill. You get Ukraine funding, you get to start the war with Taiwan, and you only are setting the limit at what you're already knowing you're going to control anyway. So all of that stuff starts to make a whole lot of sense when you look at it from that perspective. Getting into the topic of mail-in ballots, mail-in voting, and really it should only be used for deployed military. And then if you have something extremely serious and important going on. But the way it is, I've never heard of people just mailing in ballots just for the fun of it, just because they want to. But you see some states, all mail-in elections, some no excuse absentee voting, and then you have to have an excuse required to vote in absentee. So none of this stuff really makes a whole lot of sense that they're going this route. But I really view it, and what I've seen in my experience is it's mostly predominantly military that needs to use this absentee ballot, and those are just military that are actually deployed. Now, with it, there's a whole lot of other things going on with this, like saying that you can vote without an ID. I have never experienced an ability to vote without ID. I go in to vote, that's the first thing that they always ask is, can I see your ID? Every time, 100% of the time. So hearing that there's some strange, mystical, magical land where you don't have to show your ID, the first thing I thought of when I heard that was, well, you're trying to cheat. You're definitely trying to cheat. You're trying to figure out, like, how are you going to get all these extra ballots in? It doesn't really add up until you start thinking, oh yeah, it does add up. It adds up for cheating. That's all there is to it. It's all about cheating this election. I'm not a big person that's saying, hey, they cheated so bad in 2020 that they won. But this is frustrating and it's challenging. And this video puts all of those points together. Lastly, I'm going to touch on this point here, and this is YouTube taking down false claims about U.S. elections. Here's the thing. There were at least 30 videos on YouTube that showed something happening to a ballot. And I watched like 12 of them, but I got a life. I had to get back to it. And when I come back, I literally left my screen on the search, and I went and clicked on one of the videos, and it's gone. All of them. About 33 of them gone. Now, I don't know how many of those videos actually were like re-uploads or just the same exact situation again. I don't know. I'm not allowed to know because they kept taking them down. And this is a two-pronged thing. Who's to decide what's false? Who is to decide? I mean, if you're standing there with your camera and you see it with your own two eyes, you see it and you're videotaping, then you upload it and they take it down and say it's false. I'm like, oh, it's not. That's not false. I literally stood there with my camera and videotaped it. So then it gets into constitutional rights, and guess what? On YouTube, nobody has constitutional rights. And technically, nobody has freedom on YouTube. So it's just the way it is. But I guess we'll test those limits this year. Anyway, let me know what you think about this video. And I have a link to Western Lensman on Twitter/X, which is now a free platform again. And in fact, I probably went 5 years without going on Twitter. X. It wasn't X back then. But now I go on there a little bit. I still don't spend much time on there. I really don't like Instagram. I really don't like Twitter. But you got to do what you got to do, I guess. But I'm glad somebody forwarded this to me. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Financial Independence out.